and give you also the focus. Right.
Perfect.
Enjoy. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. I'm Benno, founder and CEO of Gossik, and we help with more independence for young people with ADHD and also more harmony in the family. We do this because we are the first ones that actually combine an online ADHD coaching with an organizational app. No focus, I guess. There we go. So who's Gossik? We started in 2019, but then 2 years afterwards, we founded our AG in 2021. And in the beginning, we were two co-founders, like classic Swiss combination of ETH Zurich and HSG St. Gallen. Now we are a team of 6, and I will talk more about later, but in the beginning, it had nothing to do with ADHD. We were in a completely different area, and then in the year 2022, we made a pivot towards ADHD, like I think in December somehow. And then our product launch in the ADHD market, we launched in March 2023, so 1 year ago. And now the cool thing is since then, we are now one of the top 100 Swiss startups, and we are growing 3x over 6 months. So we are at the moment really growing heavily. Our vision is to become the central ADHD player and also provide overall care for anyone that is affected by ADHD. Why do we do this? Because in the beginning, when we made the switch to ADHD, a lot of people told us, hey, it's a small niche, like it's not worth it to go into this direction. But the more and more we focus on this one, we see it's huge, because 5.5% of all the teenagers in Switzerland, or like overall the world, are affected by ADHD. And in the last 10 years, the number of diagnoses really grew as well. I think the NZZ at the moment publishes 1 article about ADHD per week, and it's a huge topic. How do we want to fulfill, how do we want to help those people? As I said, we do a combination of an online ADHD coaching with an organizational app. Why do we do this? In the beginning, what is done at the moment already, there's like a normal ADHD coaching, and this is great. Also with us, the teenagers, once a week, they sit together with our ADHD coaches, and there it's all about what is ADHD, how do I cope with it, how do I structure my day, how do I plan my day, how do I prioritize my tasks, and so on. So like a lot about psychoeducation and also time management. Problem with this is, after this session, people are super motivated, super enthusiastic. However, in the ADHD context, the next day, everything is already gone. And people with ADHD, they need something that is there for them 24/7. This is why we combine it with an app. And at the moment, it looks like a simple to-do list app. This is a cool thing. However, in the background, there are a lot of algorithms that proactively help and guide the people towards throughout their day. The app helps to use these methods that they learn in the coaching and integrate them into their everyday life. And with this, we can guarantee 24/7 support and not only once a week. And for us, this is exactly what changes the game, because an ADHD coaching is okay, but not enough. An app itself is okay, but not enough. Only the combination, this is what really helps the people to reduce the symptoms and help manage their daily life. But now back to 2019, because as I said, in the beginning, it had nothing to do with ADHD. In September 2019, Diego, the other co-founder, and me, we both graduated with a master's degree. And then we had an amazing idea, help people reach their goals. So not about ADHD, just general organizing, time management, and buy a productivity assistant, and just help everyone. And then in the beginning, it was like just the 2 of us, and we did rapid prototyping. I think 2 weeks after we decided to start, we already had our first prototype. And classic startup, because we read some books, they say, put it out in the market and then iterate with feedback. So after 2 weeks, we put it out, and in the first 2 years, we already got 500 and more beta users. But everything was about product development. We went to Facebook groups, we went to events, we called all our friends and families and said, hey, try our app and give us feedback, test it heavily, and so on. So it was really rapid prototyping. And then I think we released an update every week. And we had, I don't know, 10 different versions. They looked something like this, really bad, then still really bad. And then sometimes we worked with designers as well. But it was heavy product development. We were not talking about the business. It was not about making money. It was all about having a great product. And in parallel, we went and built our story. Hey, we have a cool idea, we can change the world, and so on, everything. And with this, in April 2021, we were able to raise a round with business angels in the range of 290K. And this then changed everything, because in the beginning, it was just the two of us basically at home. We lived with our parents because we didn't have any money. And the good thing is, COVID-19 was good to us because we were not able to spend any money or do anything. We were just at home working. And by the way, also in 2019, we had not a company. We didn't found a company yet. We did it with the money from our first financing round because we were also students. We didn't have any savings to put the 100K that you need. So then we founded in 2021 our AG. 2021 was then an amazing year in the beginning, at least, because finally we were able to pay ourselves a salary and just do something with it. And after 2 years with no salary, this was a huge step for us. Also, we had a company and everything was amazing, and we used it. We did our first hire, a community manager, because back then we already had some users and they needed to be managed. We put all the feedback loop to this guy. And then we were focused on product development because still we were heavily fighting with retention, but maybe more about it afterwards. The good thing is also with our financing round, we were in the startup space because previously it was not about a company. Now it was about building a company or a startup, not a company yet. And because of this, we got some attention from investors and all the entrepreneurs and all these competitions and so on. So we won several awards and competitions, and we thought, okay, we are the best. It's amazing. Let's go. We also did a professional design this time because the one before was designed by an engineer, by me, and you can see it. So we then hired an agency, and this is actually the result on the right side. It looked really clean, simple. We didn't manage to completely implement it like this, but at least the design was amazing. Also, we did this because based on all the feedback we got was a lot of people said, hey, it's an amazing product, but the design is crap, of course. So we hope that we can fight retention with the new design. And actually we did this. So retention means that people, in the beginning, a lot of people try our product and are excited about what we do. However, 2 weeks afterwards, they are gone because it needs a lot of self-discipline to use an app on a daily basis without any human interruption from the outside. So yeah, we had in the beginning a lot of traction with 500 users, but 2 weeks afterwards, 95 people were already gone. And the most complaint was about the design. So with the new design, we tripled our retention. Amazing. However, the retention was previously so bad, so even 3 times more was still not really usable. So it didn't really work that way. And then we were in 2021, it was all about retention. So we really experimented with the product, with this feedback loop all the time. And one of the problems was we did not have a clear target audience because we were completely convinced that everybody could use our product because we all can be more organized. We all want to be more productive and more successful and so on. But then in the feedback, we talked with people from the USA, from Germany, from Portugal, from anywhere, any age, any industry. We talked to parents, we talked to teenagers, just like with everybody. And everybody has their own opinion. So we had like 1,000 opinions and we tried to consolidate them into a process where we can put new features in the app, but it didn't work because we tried to make everyone happy. And in the end, we made nobody happy. And this is one of the main learnings, which I come later to, because we were running in circles. We put the app outside, we collected feedback from so many people. We made interviews and so on. I think I spoke to 1,000 people. And then we put this in the app and so on. But we did not get out of this of this loop, and we did not make any progress. So in the beginning, awesome year. Afterwards, not so much.
Quick question: how much was it on the store? Yeah, or was it for free?
It was for free, yes, because back then it was not about making money. It was still making people use it over several weeks, because then they are willing to pay. But we didn't even manage to get to this stage. We made some experiments with pricing, like for 5 Swiss francs per month, but apps, usually people are not used to pay for apps, so they are for free. So this would be then the next challenge, which we didn't even come to. Then 22, I would say like the worst year of my life. It really went downhill because it was clear our funding, like the 290K that we had, that would last until September 2022. And since a new financing round takes around 6 to 9 months, so in the beginning of 2022, we had to start fundraising again. And fundraising means go out, tell everyone you have an amazing business opportunity, and try to convince them to invest in you. And we ourselves didn't even knew what the business opportunity was. So it was hard to convince investors. And to be honest, we talked to like maybe 200 investors in the first half of the year, and we were rejected by everyone. I think I didn't even get one yes. So this was hard time. And in parallel, we were still focusing on the product and trying to make it work. And there we had the first signs that ADHD could be a potentially good target audience. Because in all those feedback loops where we interviewed people and asked them, why are you using a product and what really helps you? ADHD regularly became a topic where people said they have ADHD and our app really helps them. And then we wanted to have a look at it a little bit closer, because what we did differently than other apps is our app takes users by the hand and guides them through the day. And for people with ADHD, this is amazing because they can rely on something that also like a second brain that helps them, and that they really can say they can trust this tool. So since we were still fighting with retention and we were looking for an ideal target audience, we made several experiments. So I think we put in 12 marketing campaigns, one towards teachers, one towards students, one towards 35 plus people, and so on. So like really 12 campaigns. And there again, we saw that ADHD could be a topic. And luckily, the ZHW Winterthur then reached out to us, and we did a market study together. And in this study, it was really successful. We found out that the needs of people with ADHD are a perfect fit for what we built. You can say luck, whatever, but actually we found a target group. And then we had to make a bold decision, because in summer we had 3 months until we ran out of money. And we were already in discussions with several investors. And those investors, the last 6 months, we told them, this is an amazing business opportunity. And now during those discussions, we completely change our mind and we say, it's not. This is an amazing business opportunity. So it was really, we were scared about it, and it was a bold decision. However, it was the best decision that we ever made, because with this niche, now we got interest from investors. Previously, they said, guys, you want to tackle the whole world. It's not going to happen. And now we had a clear focus, a clear target audience with a very high, very important, very emotional problem that we can solve. And this actually then led to the first commitments from investors. And also, I think in July, we made the switch to ADHD. And in September, we already got our first awards and competition ones and everything, even though during those applications, we didn't really know what we were talking about. But still, it was such a huge thing that we won them. Yeah, we still ran out of money in September. So as I said, horrible year. But in September, we were thinking about actually stopping everything. But we had those commitments from the investors. So there was hope to actually turn the ship around. And since we didn't have salary neither for us nor for anyone else, our complete focus was on fundraising, like getting this financing round over the table and just getting this money, because otherwise we cannot continue to work. So 2 or 3 months without salary, we were working on it. And then just before Christmas, like I think it was 21st or 22nd of December, where they wired the money and it was available. So we were able to buy Christmas presents. Huge relief, because it was really horrible up to then. We were just fighting. So every day we were like, should we give up or should we continue? But then step by step, we just somehow managed it to get it done. And also during this time, even though we made the switch towards ADHD, we were not able to work on product development. So we completely froze product development and were only about fundraising and telling about what we are going to do. So now, after Christmas, we took 2 weeks off, first time since 2019, just to recalibrate and get a little break. But then from January on, it was again all about product development. We had a clear target audience, we had a problem, and quickly it became clear that app only is not going to solve this problem. So this is where the coaching came into place. We also did our first marketing and sales hire, because now it was about market entry. And we completely shifted also from building a great product to building a company. So we were talking about money. We were not about, let's do something and let people use it. So, it was more about, how can we make money? Is it reliable? Is it, I don't know, like, can we live off it? Can we make money with it? And within 2 or 3 months, very high development. I think we didn't really sleep this time. In March 2023, we did our launch of the first product, like the coaching app product that we have right now. And then of course, we had to, again, a lot of product iterations. So the first 3 months, then until July last year, we iterated with the product again. We also hired some ADHD specialists, because I myself, I'm an engineer, I'm a tech guy. I have no idea what those people need or how could I coach them. I built the first coaching program, but then we changed it very quickly again. So then everything was about ADHD and iterating with this coaching and the app, like adapting the app towards the coaching and building this coaching. And in summer, we managed to make the people really happy. In summer, then, I don't know if you know about product market fit and the service about this, but we crashed the benchmark very, very high. So we got huge emails. People called us and they were crying, because we were able to change those people's lives. Because if you have a child with ADHD, a lot of things change. So those are the kids that sometimes get thrown out of school, or they don't make it in the working place. And if you manage it correctly, you can make those people be a great part of society. And this is what we achieved in summer last year. However, then we faced a next challenge, because we were losing with every customer that we had. Back then, people paid us 40 Swiss francs per month, and we had salary costs from around 100 Swiss francs per month per family. So it was not sustainable. We were not able to make money with it. So we experimented heavily with the business model, did a lot of changes there, and then we increased prices heavily. So we went from 40 francs to 280 francs, which is 7x. But with this business model now, we were making money with each new customer. It worked for us. Also, the projections in the future, the investors were happy, we were happy, so it worked. However, with a product of 280 Swiss francs, the next challenge then was, it's a complete different sales cycle, or also in the mindset. 40 francs, every family, if we can say, hey, we might change, or we might help your children, yeah, take 40 francs. Let's go. I'm willing to experiment and to give it a try. However, with 280 francs, this is a major cost for any family in Switzerland. Of course, there are families with a lot of money, but for the most part of families, this is a huge decision, and you cannot just make it with one click on the website. So our sales numbers, our conversion rates, they crashed again, and I think within 2 months we had 3 or 4 customers. So then in the second half of the year, it was all about iterating with the sales funnel. Like, we tracked every everything the people did, like from the point on where they come to the website to are they going to fill out the form with us? Are they making a call with us? Are they using the product and so on, to see really where do we lose those people until where do they get? And also then in the second half year, we ran about 50 experiments. I think we tried everything, like put the prices on the website, remove it from the website, make people call us, make people discuss with us on WhatsApp, whatever. We tried really everything to make it work. And then in November and December last year, so not long ago, we made the sales funnel again working. And two of the main things that helped us there is, the first thing is, with 280 francs, as I said, you cannot just put a click on the website, because nobody's going to buy something for this much if they don't know us and they cannot trust us, because you cannot build so much trust with a website. So the first thing was, we do not put the prices on the website. We make them call us, because then we have them in the call and we can talk to them. They get to know us and we can build trust in this call. So this really helped us to overcome this hurdle. And the second one, really simple. We saw that once the people work with us, they are more than willing to pay 280 francs for us, because they saw how we can change and how we can help those children. So we made a free trial where they have 2 of the first appointments for free. They can get to know the app, they can get to know the ADHD specialists and how we work and so on. And this now built the trust that they are willing to put 280 Swiss francs. So in November and December now, the experimenting was kind of successful, because the sales funnel, again, it was working. And we had an amazing product, we had a working business model, and sales and marketing is getting going, it's going on, it's kind of working as well. So awesome. However, then we had fired 2 people of our team, and we were 5 people on the team back then. So 40% of everyone, this was also like a huge, not a crisis, but it was a huge challenge again, because everything was built up to be manageable with 5 people. Now we had only 3. So our biggest focus back then was rehiring, like getting new people on the board, because also lesson learned from my side there is, team is everything. Like, you need to be really fast and take your time with hiring, because you really need to get to know those people, because as you can see from my pitch, there are up and downs, so there will be challenging times, and you need people that are totally reliable and that really outperform anyone else. So you need to get to know them, and also you need to react really fast if someone of them cannot perform for whatever reason. It doesn't, I'm not saying fire anyone that does not perform, but as soon as you see that someone is not performing as expected or as they want or they should, talk to them and get this thing discussed or get this problem solved, because otherwise team is so important. If you are just 5 people, you cannot afford that one of them is not performing, not even for 1 or 2 weeks. So then the last 2 or 3 months, then we were really focused on hiring, and now we got 3 people back on the team. And now at the moment it's really going. So now we are on an up. Let's see for how long, because the last 3 months were all record months. Month after month we were increasing everything. Also April now we got already the same numbers as we had in total March. So we are at the moment again good going, but let's see how 2024 turns out in the end. So this is like a quick summary of my 5 years, and if I had to summarize it into 3 things that or three lessons that I learned, classic consulting pitch. First one, start and iterate. In the beginning, we always discussed and analyzed everything, and we wanted to be perfect from first step. See where I'm now. I never thought I would be in a digital health company right now, because I'm a techie. I thought we were going into deep tech and this kind of direction, but now we completely changed it. So you will change a lot of things, and instead of trying to be perfect in the beginning, just make a base and then build up from there. Everything is iterative, whether it's a product where you then get feedback from the clients, whether it's sales where you just say, I think we design the website in this kind of steps. Everything will be changed, because On the journey, you will learn so many things, and then you will maybe really fastly see, okay, this is not working, but this is working, and then just, yeah, don't try to be perfect in the beginning, really iterate, whatever it means, like in every aspect of my life, actually, right now. Second one, target audience is key. This is really specific for us because a lot of people, they think, hey, I've got an amazing idea about a product and they want to build this product. This is exactly what we did. It is really, really hard to find a target audience for an existing product. So don't do this. We were really lucky that we were able with ADHD, but even then we had to adapt the product heavily. Do it the opposite way. Find a good target audience, maybe even one that you belong to or that you can rely to, and then see what are the problems there and try to fix those problems, and then build a product to fix those problems. Because then it's easy. You can very quickly test with those people. You are not like we sometimes we didn't know who should we listen to. And if you have a clear target on, for example, for us now with ADHD, anyone that is not that has nothing to do with ADHD, yeah, your opinion is great. Reject it. I don't care. Like really focus. So start with a target audience. And the third one, never give up. This is actually really a personal learning because the longer I'm in the game, I see that it's not about being better than anyone, but just stay in the game, stay in the loop, because maybe you need to change directions 5 times or 10 times. I don't care. But there's really only a few people like Mark Zuckerberg that are from the beginning on successful. Stay in the game, and then maybe the 5th try will be successful. But as long as you don't give up, at some point you will find the winning idea, the winning team, the winning method, whatever it is. Okay, yeah, this was from my side. If you have any questions about the last 5 years or anything that I learned, or maybe the mistakes I made or whatever, just ask.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I felt the energy, and honestly, like, you know, the slide you just showed before with these 3 points, I can definitely support heavily. This is 101, the same for the research activities we are doing, especially to try grants, never give up. I mean, revise, resubmit, also getting papers published, target audience, like focus, right?
Yeah.
So important, and also build quick prototypes, test them as soon as possible. So thanks a lot for this very transparent and honest and authentic like presentation. I liked it very much. Like you feel, right, like where you went through, and with the highs and lows, right? So yeah. Fantastic. You have probably some comments and questions. I definitely have, or would like to start. I mean, can you, or do you know why ADHD is getting more prevalent, or are the screening instruments now better than it was in the past? Maybe in the past we didn't have the screening instruments for it. However, it is an important area. So any insights? Maybe COVID pushed it as well. Maybe the society changed and how we behave with each other changed.
Exactly. Yeah, like COVID-19 is one of the major impacts actually there. But in the past, people with ADHD, or especially children with ADHD, were just, everybody said, hey, they need to be, they are like erzogen.
Educated, well educated, or
exactly, like they're just like nervous and everything. They're like just like hard or challenging children, but it's not a disorder. So I think society changed it. At the moment, mental health is like more a topic. We look more into mental health, and we don't just say it is as it is. And therefore we also have the screening. Yes, so people are making progress in research, and people are really studying these kind of things like more. And one of the major impacts was COVID-19, because with the isolation, especially for teenagers, it was a really, really hard time. So all the mental health aspects, all the psychological things like disorders and so on, even depression and so on, has gotten a really boost with this time. So yeah.
Okay. Can you product or service also be used for diagnosis, or is it a digital diagnostic, or how is the patient journey? You're diagnosed, then the family knows, and then there's maybe standard treatment or so, and then they start to Google and find you, or like how is that going?
No, we cannot use our product for diagnosis because we are not a medical device. So we need really to step back from this one. However, we have a huge network of doctors, psychologists, and so on. And whenever someone needs to make a diagnosis, we send them towards them because we have some requests from people that are looking for a diagnosis. And it's huge. Like you wait 1 year until you get an appointment for a diagnosis. And the good thing is now what we can offer is we have such a good network and we are in exchange with them that when they come through us, we can provide them a diagnosis within 2 or 3 months. Not we, but our network, because we just sent them there. And we also, it's vice versa. So those doctors then after diagnosis, they know us. So a lot of, I think we have now 30 doctors and clinics that have a QR code from us. And whenever they do a diagnosis or they have a catch-up appointment or anything, they send them to us because they know us and they know they are treated with us. Because also for psychotherapy, you wait 6 months until you maybe get a spot.
Oh, fantastic.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
However, I need to say our best customers are not the ones that just got diagnosed, but the ones that had the diagnosis maybe 1 or 2 years and they tried everything on the medical side with psychotherapy and so on, because this is taken care of by the insurance. And then afterwards, like we come at the end or maybe in between until they get a treatment from the medical side, because also our position is not like another product, but like we have our place in there between the diagnosis and until they get a place. Or if there are really no spots for this family, then we take care of it.
Okay. Do you track progress? Like, do you have outcomes in your service that you see they improve, or how do you measure success?
Yes, like the weekly coachings, they are documented. And also on a regular time, we do like, not like the diagnosis, but like similar surveys that are used in there so that we can see, did we change like any of the symptoms? And also we are in exchange with the doctors as well, because the doctors, they have maybe an appointment every 3 or 6 months, and then we report to the doctors, and then together with them, we look, did we make any progress or not? Yes, and also now we are going one step further where we really want to make a study where we then track progress like from the medical side as well. But at the moment, it's more about our network.
Yeah, and then maybe show health insurers, etc. Look, it works. Maybe
Exactly.
we can do something.
Yes.
Do you have maybe plans in 2, 3, 4 years? Because it seems to me this might be a great digital therapeutic that could be prescribed at some point, blended treatment, which is not yet possible, for example, in Germany, as you know, but they're discussing it. So is there a future also to get a prescription, like, or do you think, I mean, in Switzerland, it's more complicated, I think.
Yes, definitely. And we need to check it from a strategic point because, for example, also last year, we made a test with psychotherapists because psychotherapy is already prescribed. So it is taken care of. But the good thing is, since we have such a big emotional problem, the families are more than willing to spend the money. So it's not needed. And we have now a working business model. 1 year before, it would be another thing. But from a strategic point, yes, definitely, because what we see is 280 Swiss francs. Not every family can afford this kind of money. So we want to have either a low price product or even a prescribed product. So yes, we are now building up evidence such that we, in 2 or 3 years, we can also go this way.
Well, cool. All the best of luck with that. And now I stop, and probably you have lots of comments and questions. If not, I will just move on because it's so interesting and relevant. So, but yeah. Oh, wait, now we have a.
How do you tackle the retention now? Because especially ADHD is quite hard disease to really get the retention from the customers because they use it. And I think that it's interesting. And 1, 2 days later, they do other stuff.
I think what really changed or improved the retention was a human person is also in the loop. They have every week, they have one touch point with a person. Because also studies show that apps themselves, you have a huge retention problem, but the hybrid case, which what we do is really the solution, because now we have no retention problems at all. We have families that are with us from last March. They are still with us and they still show up every week and they use the app. What we need to say is that the app is not in focus anymore, because previously it was app only. Now the product is the app and the coaching. And there are times where we see that the teenagers, some of the teenagers use the app heavily, some of them only in certain situations. However, the whole product like this works, but not the app only.
Okay, and that's quite perfect to my second question. How does your coaching work, and what did investors say to the coaching regarding the scalability also of the solution? Because I think you will work with partners and therapists.
Awesome question. The coaching, I cannot tell you exactly how it goes. However, in the beginning, we have a survey where we assess the situation, and then it's a very individual case. So there's not a standard coaching at the moment, because we define goals with each family itself, and then we work towards this goal. Because also all the teenagers, they use the app differently. Some of them use it for just collecting notes to not forget anything or just clear their head. Some of them use it for appointments because they were always late. So it's a very individual thing. And our ADHD specialists, and I myself, I cannot say what exactly they do, but they use their proven methods to just overcome these specific challenges that the families have and achieve those goals. And the investors, yeah, this is like awesome, because the investors, they say we change from a product-based company to a service-based company, and we cannot really scale it because there is a human in the loop. The good thing is, since we have the app, it is already very scalable, because without the app, like normal ADHD coaches or therapists, they can handle maybe 15 to 25 families each for a 100% position. We have ADHD coaches, they work 60% with us and they have 50 families. So it is already a huge scaling factor there, but we assume that we can reach a certain point, but we cannot hire 100 ADHD coaches. And this is why now we are shifting towards checking what works in the coaching and put this into an app. So we want to completely automate either all of the things or most of the things. Also, one of our achievements is in the beginning, the families, they need a coaching. However, at some point they can use the app and they are good to go, basically. So they don't need the coaching anymore. Maybe once a month, a small catch-up or anything. So not scalability is only for a certain part. And but we are working now towards a completely automated app. Also, we are building a community so that we can really put ourselves out of the loop. However, then we go into the medical device, and this is a huge other topic, because then we need another investment for this thing. So we are now building the story again to then fundraise and go for this product.
Good.
At the beginning, you said that you help the children, but also their families. And I'm not quite sure if it's like the help for the families indirect, or do you have a second interface in the app where they can have information about ADHD or whatever?
Mm-hmm. In the app itself, not. However, we have 3 packages at the moment. The first one is where we only work with the children. So they get the weekly coaching, they get the app, and that's okay. However, what we found out is that a lot of parents, they also need help, because they don't know how they can manage their child, because they don't know anything about ADHD, and they don't know how to react in certain situations and so on. So we built another package for the parents, and this is without the app, where we just like consult them basically about how can they make the perfect environment for their children. And then we have the combination. Like sometimes we work with the whole family. But the good thing is, even if we just work with the children, the main value is going to the parents. because the children, like when it's a 12 or 13-year-old boy or girl, they don't really make so many thoughts about the future, but the parents do. So the parents are very scared and worried about the future of the children. So when they see that we can make progress with the children, the parents, they can be relieved and they can really be optimistic. So this is an indirect value then where the family gets. Yeah.
I was just wondering, because actually I also thought of this question of scaling it up in the end, and this factor of the coaches that you have at the moment. If you ever thought of a partnership with, for example, platforms like Epsi. Do you know Epsi?
Yes.
They do the online coaching there. Maybe so. Did you ever think about something like this?
Yes, actually, we are in contact with the founder of Epsi as well.
Okay.
Nicolas, I think he is. Yes, definitely, but still, even then, it's just scalable to a certain point because you have just that many therapists or ADHD coaches in Switzerland, and it's not enough. I would say before COVID, there were enough, but now since all those therapists and for example, Epsi and all these platforms, they exchange with therapists, and these are completely overbooked since COVID-19, and they are with far more critical cases with depression, anxiety, and suicide things. So they don't really have time for ADHD. So even if we would go into collaborations with them, we would still have the problem with scalability, and this is why we still go with the fully automated product.
Understandable. And maybe a funny or stupid question. What does Gossik stand for?
This was from the beginning, like in 2019, because back there we really wanted to help people reach their goals. And Gossik comes from goal seeking, like seeking their goals. But we will change the name soon, because right now the new people that we hired, one of them is an amazing CMO, and she will now do a rebranding with us. So I'm not even sure if we are going to keep the robot. Actually, I like it, but let's see how it turns out.
Cool. Thank you.
Oh, really cool, really cool. I also want to highlight and support you in this way in terms of blended treatment. I think this is really the way to go. And then, of course, the question is, which we are also trying to answer now in a several-year study in Singapore, how good is technology in terms of automation, and when do you need to bring in then the human being to offer really like a scalable solution? And we did it already with another intervention where we, of course, like, you know, elephant in the room, maybe is it then a chatbot, and how predictable is the chatbot? How safe is the chatbot? Then you have all these questions. And if you go the right direction towards kind of a medical product, as you mentioned, right, huge, effort, etc. So I just want to say, this is also our lessons learned. So the interventions that we developed in the past, when there was the human in the loop, the question is how intense, right? And then you can scale, right? If it's only once or twice, and especially at the beginning for the onboarding, for example, and then very scalable. And then if you use technology to identify the very few moments where then it is again important to bring in the human being, then you're really good to go, I think. And wonderful. I think you're going in the right direction here, or in the direction that we see also evidence shows that it works. It's so funny. Epsi, we had it today, even in the final presentations. The matching of the coaches, is that also something that you may do in the future or now, that you try to better understand, okay, we have this kind of characteristic of family or patient, and we have these kind of characteristics of coaches, that you try to match this as well, or not yet? Or
Not yet, because we are not big enough for this. However, I think 1 week ago we just talked about it, because we need to hire another 2 ADHD coaches right now because of the families that we are getting. And we see that we can then have a diverse set of ADHD coaches, and each ADHD coach, some of them are good in learning therapy, some of them are amazing with emotional management, and even gender, even male and female are differences. If you have a male coach or a female coach. So yes, we will try to do that, but at the moment it's not necessary and not possible. But in the future, it would be amazing. Hey, we have this specific case. Okay, go to Anne. She already made 50 cases like this. amazing.
Yeah, interesting. Like we had this childhood obesity intervention with 2 chatbots, a male and a female one, and it
Yeah.
was like in 100% of the cases, the young children always picked their own gender in terms
Yeah.
of the chatbot. We did not expect this. That was kind of interesting. So now I have a another question, like going back to the early days.
Yeah.
I think I was also one of the persons like back then who tried to be super effective, and I still try to be effective, but there. Like in my perception, it was this super competitive landscape in terms of like effectiveness tools, or like also heavily promoted maybe by Apple, etc. So I just remember that I used for a very long time OmniFocus or so. You probably know that.
Yes.
When you started, what was it different? Like, what wasn't there these kind of apps, and what was the delta to yours if there were the competition already? Because I could imagine there were a lot of similar apps maybe out there, but maybe not.
No, that definitely was a highly competitive area, yes. What we tried to do differently back then is because my background is in robotics and artificial intelligence from ETH Zurich. And back then, AI was not a huge topic, at least not like now. So we wanted to integrate AI, because what our USP should have been is that the app gets to know the user, how they plan their day, how they structure it, how they define tasks and prioritize it, and then mimic it and do it, like act as assistant and individual assistant, because individuality was back then not a topic. But yeah, we would have failed with this idea, definitely.
I see. So a lot of things happening under the hood that people maybe just don't
Exactly.
appreciate and understand, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. More questions or comments? Yeah. Every step makes sense.
How did you do it in the beginning when you did not have an AG to find investors? Because sometimes it's quite hard to find investors if you're not really a company yet.
Not anymore. Like a lot of people told me this in the beginning as well. They said, okay, and don't make a GmbH, only make an AG and so on. In my experience now, it doesn't really matter for them, because you can build the company afterwards. You need to tell them that with the money you will incorporate the company, yes, but you don't need one from the beginning, because previously also investors came into a later stage where you you made a company and then you worked on it for 1 or 2 years, and then investors came in. Right now, because all the investors, they want to join in as early as possible, because also then the valuation of the company is not already in the millions, but like really small. So it changed that investors want to come in as early as possible. I mean, even here at HSG, you have programs where people work for 1 semester on their own idea and they pitch in front of investors. And I think already it came to a point where investors said, hey, let's do it together and build this company. So I would say a lot of people told me the same in the beginning, but in my experience, I would say it's not the case. You can do it if you still have a job, if you still are a student, like you don't even need to be full-time committed to it, and you don't need a company, but you need to tell, if you get the money, you will make the company and you will commit full-time. So then it changes.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But when you don't have any real product and results, why they should trust you?
They trust your story. Like in the beginning, if you don't even have a product or you don't have any revenue or whatever, you have to make a good presentation. You have to do your homework. You need to say, look, I haven't built anything yet, but I saw this is a target audience and they have this problem. And for example, I talked to 30 of them and I made a survey with 100 of them, and it shows that they need something like this. And you made your thoughts about how can you solve it, and you have a good idea. So like you need to show that you have everything thought through. You don't have to have it already built, but you need to show, hey, there's a high probability that you are going to be all right. And the more you can validate with data, talking to people, or even make certain tests. For example, I know guys, they made just landing pages and they saw a huge amount of people go to those landing pages. And then when they clicked on buy, it came a web page, hey, we don't have anything yet, but we will notify you as soon as we have. And then they can say, hey, look, we have 100 people that want to buy it. give me the money and then I build the product. So this is actually the way that investors come in. Because if you have the product already, for what do you need the money then?
Yeah, because I also like attended like entrepreneurial summer internship before. They also require us to be like at least like product prototype,
Mhm.
and then they can just trust you because you only show like the story. Maybe it will be hard, yeah. But yeah, as you said, you can also provide like to do some surveys and to show the data, and to improve your like opinions.
Mhm. Also, a prototype is really fastly made. So, I mean, whatever app you have, if you really think about what is the main value proposition that you want to do, anything is built within 1 or 2 weeks. For example, Dropbox, they made a video and they showed what they imagined the product to be. This was a prototype, and this was enough to build a waiting list for customers and also raise money.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. Well, then I would like to say one more time a big thanks to Benno for taking the time. I think, again, that was very authentic and we learned a lot, and we wish you all the best of luck with the next steps, gathering more evidence and then showing the stakeholders to get a sustainable and even scale up reimbursement for the future as well.
Would be nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, then I stop also here the recording, and thank also our online audience to join us here.